Hey and welcome back. We have already learned how to add data in the admin interface. Now we're going to make it possible to add them from the front end. When we work with input from users in Django, we almost always want to use forms. I'm not just talking about HTML forms now, but a feature from Django. And by doing this, we keep best practices for security and similar. And the first thing we can do now is to just create a file called forms.py in the task app. So forms.py. And this file should look like this. We can begin by importing something called model form. So from django.forms import model form. And then we can import the task model. From.models import task. And then we're going to create a class for defining this form. So class task form. You can call it whatever you want, but the model name and then form is a great way, and it's easy to understand what this actually does. And we want to use the model form here so that we are expanding on this class. And then we add a class meta here for configuration for this form. And then we just want to specify which model we are using, which is obviously in this case the task here, and which fields we want to show in the front end. And the fields we want to show is title, we want to show the description, we want to show if it's done, and the category. Like that. So the model form will automatically generate HTML for a form for us. We just need to feed it the model and which fields we want to be showing. So let's go to views.py to create a view for actually rendering this template. First, let's import the form from .forms import. Sorry, I'm in the wrong file now. It's supposed to be in task views.py. So from .forms import task form. And maybe we can just show this on the front page because we want to make it very easy to create new tasks. So here at the bottom we can say form equals task form and just have it empty instance like that. And then we can also append it to this context down here and save. And then to show this inside the template, we need to open up frontpage.html, and above the tasks we can create a new HTML tag form, set the method to be post, and the action can just be dot, because that's the page we are on. Then we close this, and then the first thing we need to add in here is a function or a tag called CSRF token. This stands for cross-site request forgery, which makes it impossible for other pages to submit data to your form backend. This will add a cookie or a string token that will be sent in with the form. And then to render the form, we can just say form.as_p, which will render this form as a paragraph. It could also be table if you wanted that, but p makes sense in our case. And then just a simple button for actually submitting this form. Submit and close. So if we go back now and refresh, you can see here that we can now see the form here, fill in title, description, if it's done or not, and we also have a list of categories belonging there. Great. If I try to submit this, it will not work. Even though I fill out all of the fields, nothing happens. And that's because we are not handling this in the backend. So that will be the next step in this process. If I go to the views.py in the task app again, above here we can say if request.method equals post. So now we finally learn a little bit more about this request parameter. This contains information if you have submitted a form or not. And as soon as you click this submit button, the request method will be post. And if it's not, it will be a get request, and then we can just set the form variable to be an empty instance of the task form. but if it is a post request, and we can create a new instance, task form, and just pass in request.post. So this also contains information about everything that's content of this form, like the title and stuff will be posted in here. And then Django will handle the rest for us there. We just need to check if the form is valid, for example, if the user has filled out everything. So if form.is_valid, then Django will clean the form for us, so we don't have to think about if there are any XSS attacks or similar. So if it is valid, we can just say form.save. And then I want to redirect the user back to the front page. So return, redirect, /. And then we need to import this function. This is a shortcut from Django, so we can just paste it at the top there from Django.shortcuts, import render, and import redirect. So then we don't need to do anything more here, but we can test this out now. So test3, add some information. You can add this to work, submit, and you can see here my first task and test3. Great. So now we have a form working for us that we can create new tasks with. Next step then is to make it possible to edit tasks. So tomorrow we will keep learning more about Django forms. See you in the next video.